Heenan, Gagne, Bockwinkel, Mad Dog Vachon, Baron Von Raschke, the High Flyers, and Dr. X. Your childhood is filled with sweet memories of them. Beating the living daylights out of each other. Great Lakes Championship Wrestling in 97.3 The Brew presents the Legends of Wrestling Fan Fest. Sunday, October 21st, noon to 4 at the Ramada Convention Center. Get autographs and pictures with your favorite legend. Get more info online at 973thebrew.com.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the world's most watched professional wrestling news program. This is our daily edition of PWR Interactive. Thank you for tuning in, everybody.
Thank you for watching us every time.
And being a part of this multimedia circus known as the Pro Wrestling Report. Davey Nelson, alongside the man they call Meathead, and it is time for, yesterday we had questions for him. Now it's time to address some of the questions that you guys have posted in the forum for this guy, me.
Yeah, and again, you know what? We don't mind that other people post in there, but technically it is questions for Damien, or questions for Meathead, questions for the cause. I mean, there's been times where there's 3 pages until I answer, or Damien answers her. And, you know, sometimes I'll answer Damien's questions in there. And
I've got proxies out there who do my bidding for me.
One of the best questions I've seen in a while was in the Damien Nelson category.
Of course.
Rushmore pro wrestling style. If the pro wrestling world wanted to make a pro wrestling style Rushmore, which 4 pro wrestlers deserve their faces on the pro wrestling style Rushmore?
Which in essence, you're picking the 4 people who embody professional wrestling.
Right, the most prolific pro wrestlers.
Which, you know, they're adding Bill Clinton to the Mount Rushmore.
I'll name it Crushmore. I was just wondering, please comment on this one. I hope you guys are having a great week. See, I already wins for being nice. Damien Nelson's answer was Ric Flair, Lou Thez, Steve Austin, and Hulk Hogan. Would you like to elaborate?
Well, obviously, Ric Flair, the greatest professional wrestler in the history of wrestling. Lou Thez, one of the longest reigning champions, the innovator, the man who pretty much put NWA on the map, if you will. And Steve Austin, the man who revitalized professional wrestling and really changed the entire business. And the same man who did it, Hulk Hogan, in 1980, in the early 80s, changing the business as well. But of all those 4 men, you've got your pure athletes and your pure talents in Ric Flair and Lou Thez, and Flair, who's been around longer than dirt almost, but still great at what he does.
That's some young dirt. I answered, and like I said, fantastic question, but in no particular order: Jericho, Flair, Hogan, and Bret Hart. That was meant to just piss Damien off if you haven't yet read the post. But
pure evil.
I would put the Crusher up there. If it's called Mount Crushmore
in Milwaukee,
yeah,
I put mountains in Milwaukee.
I'd put Milwaukee's Crusher.
I have mountains.
I put Milwaukee's Crushmore up there. Milwaukee's Crusher. Those are my guys.
Care to explain the 3 that you think mean something?
I agree with you.
We agreed on 2, so you don't
I
need to
agree
explain
with you on Flair and Hogan. Jericho, because right now, if we're building it now, yeah, sure, I'm a mark. And you know what? I'm going to go off on a tangent here for a second, and this is my new way of saying I'm pissed off. The term smart, the term mark, and the term smart. You know what? All of you guys, including myself, are marks. You may think you're a smart.
Not at all.
You're a mark.
You're a mark.
And it's okay to be a mark.
We like being marks.
Matter of fact, buy a T-shirt.
Be
a mark. Yeah. Be a mark. It's okay. If you are...
remember when every time we went to an ECW event, what did they take from us?
They took T-shirts. They wanted the I'm a Mark T-shirt.
Every time we went
all
to
the
ECW
talent wanted an I'm a Mark T-shirt because they thought it was the greatest thing. Because it's okay to be a mark. Just because you go on the internet and you look at these sites and think you know a little bit about what's going on, maybe it's an age thing. I really think it's an age thing. The older you get, the more you learn that you don't know nothing. And I said that wrong on purpose. Maybe
what
I'm
about
just
this Jack guy. Does Jack know?
Take it from me.
I thought there was going to be another question before you went slamming computers down.
Sorry, I just had to go off.
Another outburst like that, we'll have to have standards and means coming here.
I know.
Employee assistance program.
I do have another question for it.
Bring it on, you.
It's titled Boris Alexiev or Santino Marella. I like his WWE gimmick since he has turned heel, but do you think his gimmick would have worked in WWE? And add a general question. Why does WWE change the gimmicks of their wrestlers from their developmental company I know they want to create their own stars, but at the same time, if a person's gimmick is over in one company, why wouldn't you go over to the bigger company? I will probably answer my own question if I talk long enough, but way back during the Invasion angle, why didn't you just make make Impact players instead of O'Hare and Palumbo? I have a bit of an answer for it.
I don't know why people go posting answers to questions that are in our sections of the forum before we get a chance to answer.
Would you like to answer? Have you answered? Yeah, you didn't even answer this one.
And I was waiting for the show. I wanted to give this viewer the opportunity to hear the response live on television.
I actually agree with Darkstar on this one. Darkstar's response. It's because WWE doesn't want the wrestlers to have any ownership of their own characters. The guys in the small feds usually come up with their own characters. That's bad to Vince. He doesn't want someone owning their own character, getting big, and taking it to somewhere else, TNA, WCW. So they make them new characters that usually end up sucking.
Well, and the other thing
I don't
that they
agree
do
with
at
usually
times, not necessarily with everybody, is they will, okay, we need somebody to be the goon. We need somebody to be, we need somebody to be...
Deacon Batista.
Deacon Batista. We need somebody to be Duke the Dumpster Drosy.
We need somebody to be DDS.
We need somebody to be the Third Crush. And then they look around
Fake
and
Undertaker.
find these people.
The fake Undertaker.
And then just pull them from where they are, put them into that role that they needed, and they're your gimmick changes. Are you saying that John Cena should have remained the prototype? No, probably not.
You would have hated the prototype, too. Because he would have been winning all his matches because he was all buff and stuff.
Buff Bagwell?
No, he's still on pain meds and crying on HBO.
For the man they call Meathead, this is today's edition of PWR Interactive. Tune in tomorrow, folks. Brand new edition of PWR Weekly. We do a lot of shows.
Yeah, and you know what? I haven't heard a lot of complaining. I think we need a break again.
Let's do that. What month is it? Actually, speaking of which, November, December are going to be a bit tricky. A little traveling. I haven't been to Vegas.
It's off of suspension again. That's okay. I got my bullhorn.
Thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, as we try to find a replacement for this man. We'll see you next time right here on PWR.